Bid to contain the Taliban's offensive in Afghanistan, senior Afghan officials are in Doha for an international conference to discuss the Taliban's blitz across the country. Making sweeping gains, the Taliban has seized about two-thirds of the nation. Ahead of today's meeting, Taliban political office spokesperson Mohammad Naim has said that they are ready if the Afghan government wants to go further down the political path and solve the problems through dialogue. Listen in.
We have not closed the political path. The political path is still open. We are here in Doha, and if the Afghan government, want to go further down the political path and solve problems through dialogue, we are ready. And this has been proven with great advances on the ground that the world is seeing. We say that we want to solve problems through dialogue and through the round table. It is their choice what they prefer.
Amid the talks, Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has reiterated the demands made by the Taliban earlier. Imran Khan said that Taliban leaders would not negotiate with the Afghan government as long as Ashraf Ghani remains the president of Afghanistan. Now remember, India will also be a crucial part of the talks today. The Indian envoy to Qatar, Deepak Mittal, and Joint Secretary for Pakistan, Afghanistan and Iran, JP Singh, are likely to represent New Delhi.
The political settlement is looking difficult right now. And it's looking difficult right now because the Taliban are refusing, and we tried. I tried to persuade the Taliban. This is months back, 3 or 4 months back. The Taliban senior leadership came here and we tried to persuade them to come to some sort of a political settlement. The only thing that would stop Afghanistan from descending into anarchy is a political settlement. But unfortunately, the Taliban, when they were here, they felt that they refused to talk to Ashraf Ghani. Their condition is that as long as Ashraf Ghani is there, we are not going to talk to the Afghan government.
Violence in Afghanistan has spiked sharply as the insurgent group makes rapid territorial gains, while the capital of Kabul itself has not been directly threatened in the rapid advances. The stunning speed of the offensive has now raised questions, like how long the Afghan government can maintain its control over the territory still under its power, amid mounting worries that the insurgents could besiege Kabul within months. US President Joe Biden and other officials have repeatedly called for Afghan leaders to unite and carve out a clear strategy. Considering the billions spent to train and equip the country's military for 2 decades, the failure of Afghan security forces to blunt the advance of the Taliban has left the US officials deeply frustrated. Now, for more on this update, we are now being joined by our principal diplomatic correspondent, Sidhant Sibal. Sidhant, thanks for joining us. Now, while other consulates have been evacuated, the Indian government says that it will keep Kabul operational. So what else is the Indian government saying on the Afghanistan crisis?
Well, so far India's biggest concern is its nationals in Afghanistan, and India is keen that they are back here in India. In fact, the Indian mission in Kabul has come out with an advisory asking its nationals to come back to India when it comes to any commercial means to make sure that they are safe. India already has brought back 50 of its nationals from Mazar-e-Sharif, which of course is surrounded by Taliban, and also while its consulate is open with the help of the Afghan locals, it has brought back its diplomats as well from the consulate. The other big focus for India is how to make sure that the entire issue is dealt diplomatically. India is taking a lead diplomatically, whether it is the talks in Doha in terms of India being invited by the Qatari Special Envoy Khatani, who was here in India last week, or whether it is at the United Nations Security Council. We know that earlier this month, India, as the President of the United Nations Security Council, had convened a meeting on Afghanistan in which we saw several countries talking about the violence, the Taliban military operation, and also saying that if Taliban tries to take power through violence, come to Kabul, through violence, then they will not get the legitimacy which they are keen for. We know the Taliban delegation has been going to Tehran, Moscow and Beijing for this very legitimacy. But meanwhile, we know that Doha talks which are underway, the Afghan Regional Conference is underway as we speak, and India, of course, as you pointed out, is being represented by its envoy in Qatar, Deepak Mittal, and the Joint Secretary in the PI division of the Ministry of External Affairs, JP Singh. Remember, Deepak Mittal was earlier the Joint Secretary PI in the PI division, and of course he knows the entire situation well. And of course, that JP Singh was the Indian Deputy Envoy in Islamabad. So if we look at the situation on the ground, while it is escalating fast, the hopes are now on the talks happening in Doha.
All right, Siddhant, thank you so much for joining us on WION at this hour with all those inputs. WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.